My friends, if you find yourself trapped in poverty, mentally, emotionally, or financially, it is not by accident. It is by habit, hidden, deadly habits. Today I shall expose the 7 subtle enemies that rob men of wealth. Recognize them, and you shall reclaim your power. Deny them, and poverty remains. Complaining and blaming. Let us speak plainly. Complaining is the language of defeat. Blaming is the religion of the unsuccessful. And together, they form a mindset that repels prosperity like oil repels water. I have studied men of wealth, true builders, not mere inheritors. And one trait is always absent from their character. They do not complain. They do not blame. Why? Because they understand the power of responsibility. When you complain, you declare to the universe, I am powerless. When you blame, you confess, I am not in control. And what man, believing such things, could ever rise? No man climbs the ladder of success while pointing fingers. He climbs it by gripping the rungs, each one labeled with ownership, decision, and discipline. You see, poverty begins not in the bank account, but in the attitude. The poor in spirit see problems and point outward. The rich in mind see the same problems and ask, what can I do? This is not about guilt, it is about power. You do not reclaim your life by assigning fault. You reclaim it by assuming command. When your first instinct is to complain, bite your tongue. When your first thought is to blame, turn the mirror inward. Ask yourself, what belief, what choice, what inaction of mine contributed to this? This is how masters think. They do not wait for the world to change. They change themselves. And in doing so, they change their world. So I tell you now, if you wish to attract wealth, banish complaining from your lips. Eradicate blame from your thoughts. Replace them with questions, with decisions, with action. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the master of your mind, the captain of your soul. The moment you stop blaming is the moment you start building. Choose that moment now. Fear-based decision-making. Let me offer you a truth I have witnessed in the lives of both titans and the timid. Fear is the enemy of decision, and indecision is the graveyard of dreams. You may believe you are making rational choices, logical moves, but if your mind is ruled by fear, your logic is nothing more than dressed-up hesitation. Every decision you make from fear takes you one step away from your destiny. It may feel safe, it may feel smart, but understand this: safety, when rooted in fear, is the most dangerous trap of all. How many men have I seen pause at the crossroads of opportunity, not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked courage? How many fortunes were never claimed, simply because someone chose comfort over commitment? Fear-based decision-making whispers, what if you fail? It paints pictures of ruin and wraps them in reason. But true reason is not born of fear. It is born of vision, clarity, and definite purpose. You are not meant to shrink. You are not born to hesitate. The richest rewards are reserved for those who move boldly in spite of uncertainty. Let me remind you, every great achiever, every empire builder, every revolutionary thinker made decisions not because they knew the outcome, but because they knew who they were. They were guided not by fear, but by faith, not by doubt, but by direction. So I say to you, if fear is sitting at the table, do not let it hold the pen. Do not let it sign the contracts of your life. Recognize it, thank it for its concern, then dismiss it. You must decide, and decide quickly. Delay invites doubt. Doubt invites defeat. Act on faith. Move with purpose. Let your decisions reflect your highest self, not your lowest fear. And watch how life begins to obey the one who dares to lead it. Hanging around negative people. Let me speak plainly. You cannot soar with eagles if you nest with crows. Your environment is not just where you live. It is who you listen to, who you confide in, and who you allow into the sacred space of your mind. And if that space is polluted with negativity, doubt, and cynicism, then so too will be your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your results. You become like the people you spend the most time with. That is not a poetic idea. That is psychological law. The attitudes, beliefs, and expectations of those around you seep into your subconscious like smoke through a keyhole. Invisible, but deadly. You may believe you are strong enough to resist their influence, but I assure you, even the strongest will can be worn down by constant complaint, criticism, and fear masquerading as realism. The man who desires success must guard his associations with the same intensity a king guards his throne. You would not let a thief into your home, so why allow one into your mind? And make no mistake, a negative person is a thief. They steal your optimism. They rob you of ambition. They drain the very energy you need to pursue greatness. Now, I am not saying to hate them, but you must outgrow them. Love them from a distance if you must, but do not let them hold you back. Instead, seek those who inspire you to think bigger, act bolder, and dream louder. Surround yourself with builders, believers, and doers. Let your circle challenge you, uplift you, and reflect the future you are building, not the past you are escaping. You are not obligated to shrink just so others feel comfortable. You are not here to dim your light to match their shadows. Choose your company wisely, because who you walk with determines how far you'll go. Consuming instead of creating. Let me issue you a warning, not with fear, but with truth. We are living in an age of endless consumption. Information, entertainment, opinions streaming into your mind by the second. And while knowledge can be power, consumption without creation is mental decay. You were not born to be a passive observer. You were born to be a creator, a builder, a force of forward motion. But every moment you spend consuming without purpose, you trade your power for passivity. The man who scrolls more than he builds, who watches more than he acts, is not preparing for success. He is delaying it. Creation is the highest form of thinking. When you write, build, speak, share, you activate your mind. You set your thoughts in motion. You transform invisible ideas into visible reality. But consumption, when unchecked, turns the mind dull. It overwhelms you with noise. It breeds comparison, confusion, and complacency. You begin to admire others instead of becoming admirable yourself. Now understand me. It is not wrong to learn. It is not wrong to study, observe, or absorb. But the purpose of intake is output. You read to teach. You learn to act. You watch to do. Every day you must ask yourself, have I built today? Have I created value? Have I taken a thought from my mind and brought it into the world? That is how empires are formed, not by endless observation, but by decisive creation. You do not become great by consuming greatness. You become great by expressing the greatness within you. So take the pen, start the project, speak the truth that burns in your chest, build the vision that haunts your dreams. You're not here to be a spectator. You are here to be a creator of destiny. Trade consumption for creation, and you will trade mediocrity for magnificence. Lack of clear purpose, definiteness of purpose. Let me speak to you plainly. Without a clear purpose, you are drifting, and a drifting man is a danger to himself. He wakes up without fire. He moves without aim. He works without passion, and wonders why life feels so heavy. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. It is the root from which every success grows. Without it, talent is wasted, time is lost, energy is scattered. The man who does not know what he wants becomes a tool for those who do. He reacts instead of commands. He follows instead of leads. He exists instead of lives. Understand this. The world steps aside for the man who knows where he is going. He is magnetic, certain, respected. Why? Because clarity is rare. and power always follows clarity. So I ask you, what do you want? Not what do others want for you, not what you think is safe, but what do you want deep in your soul? Until you can answer that with conviction, your success will remain a shadow. You must write it, speak it, see it. You must turn your purpose into a command, not a wish. A clear purpose gives you focus when you're tired. It gives you fire when you face resistance. It becomes your compass when the world tries to pull you in every direction. Do not wait for permission. Do not hope someone gives you your purpose. You decide it, you define it, you declare it. Write it down. Read it aloud every morning. Make it so vivid that your mind cannot ignore it and your spirit cannot deny it. Because once your purpose is definite, your thoughts align, your habits sharpen, and your world begins to bend in your favor. Drifters dream, but men of purpose, they build dynasties, choose, declare, pursue, and never again move without aim, avoiding responsibility. There is no mastery without responsibility. Mark my words. The man who avoids responsibility also avoids greatness. He blames, he complains, he points the finger at fate, at fortune, at others, never at himself. But here is the truth. Every time you dodge responsibility, you surrender power. You weaken your mind, you fracture your will. You become a passenger in your own life, tossed by the winds of circumstance, begging the world to steer you. Great men do not beg, they build. They do not run from burden, they rise to it. They understand that responsibility is not a weight, but a weapon. It is the tool by which we shape reality. The minute you say, I am responsible, you reclaim dominion over your life. You stop waiting for things to change, and you start changing things. No more excuses, no more stories, just action, ownership, progress. This is not easy. To take responsibility is to admit fault, to confront weakness, to face the mirror without flinching. But only the man who faces the truth can forge a better one. Understand this, life will test you. It will present trials, setbacks, even injustice. But what defines you is not what happens to you. It's what you do with it. Victims wait, leaders act. Do not say, it's not my fault. Say, it's my responsibility. Not because everything is your fault, but because everything is your opportunity. The moment you accept full ownership of your results is the moment you unlock your power to change them. This is how empires are built, not with blame, but with backbone. So I ask you, where have you been avoiding responsibility? Where have you been passive when you were born to be powerful? Make the shift today. Stand up, step in, take charge. Say it with me. I am responsible for my life. Because once you believe that, nothing and no one can stop you. Responsibility is not a punishment. It is your path to personal greatness, living without a daily success ritual. Let me be blunt. A man without a daily ritual is a man without direction. He drifts, he reacts, he wakes up hoping the day will serve him. But life does not serve the unprepared. Success is not random. It is not accidental. It is the result of rhythm, deliberate daily rhythm. Without it, the mind becomes scattered. The will becomes soft. The purpose fades into chaos. You must understand this. Your mind is a garden. If you do not plant it with intention each day, the weeds of distraction, fear, and doubt will overrun it. A daily success ritual is how you cultivate clarity. It is how you install power into your subconscious before the world has a chance to weaken you. Do you want to build a life of power? Then begin each day as if your entire destiny depends on it, because it does. This is not about checking boxes. It is about establishing command. Command over your thoughts, command over your energy, command over your focus. Your ritual might include silence, study, autosuggestion, written goals, or intentional movement. It must be yours, but it must be sacred, non-negotiable, a battlefield where the man you were yields to the man you are becoming. When you skip your ritual, you return to default. And default is designed for mediocrity. High achievers do not find time. They create it. They do not hope for greatness. They engineer it, and they do it every single day. Let me ask you, what is your ritual? What blueprint are you giving your mind to follow? Or are you letting the noise of the world write your script for you? Success is not made in moments of brilliance. It is built in moments of discipline, repetition, rehearsal, reinforcement. That is the path. So tomorrow when you rise, do not check your phone, do not scroll. Center yourself, direct yourself, build yourself, because the man who owns his morning owns his life. And that is the beginning of dominion. Remember, success is not a one-time event. It's a daily habit. Build your ritual, shape your destiny, and master your mind. Take action every day without fail, and watch how your life transforms. Start now and never stop. Your future is waiting, but only if you make it.